I think you guys see me and hear me for this Propr AMA. We'll call it our first big AMA for Propr. Real excited to be here. I think we'll wait a minute or two before we get started. I believe that we're live both on X, YouTube, and Twitch at the same time. If you're tuning in, thanks so much for taking the time. Obviously we're here to address every questions that you guys have. And we will also discuss about products. I do have an agenda to start with. I think this is going to take about 15 minutes to start with. And then at the same time, we will take community questions. Feel free to interrupt. And yeah, we'll officially start in 1 minute. I will give some context first, I think, before we get started on, for the new ones, what's Propr and what we are aiming to build. We are basically leveraging crypto tech as a way to make the prop firm industry better and build a far superior product than what prop firms are today. So I believe that crypto should be used for disrupting traditional businesses. That's what we see with stablecoins and payments. And prop firms suffer from lack of transparency, which is a property that we solve directly by building on top of Hyperliquid. So the reasons why we're building Propr is because we believe that crypto has come to a stage where we can actually build a more efficient prop firm ecosystem. So the way we stand out is via better tech. So if some of you tested, and we'll discuss about this later, but we have a custom trading terminal that offers perps on both crypto and equities. And we believe it's, in terms of user experience, it's a much better way to express delta on the market. So if I'm not speaking specifically for crypto people, but for TradFi people, which is the end game of what we're building, like if you want to express a view on the market, you would go through the option market, or you would go through CFDs. But I believe that perps will slowly but surely take more ground in the TradFi space. That's what we see with HIP3 on Hyperliquid. So the UX in terms of product offering is going to be really interesting. At platform launch, we'll have both equities, commodities, and crypto all in one platform with perps and with leverage. The other interesting factor is the UX. So like the terminal UX. Today, when you use some of the best prop firms out there, the UX really sucks. Like it's just hard to use the product, understand the product. If you've used interactive brokers or even meta traders, it really looks bad. And I believe that we've come to a time in the market where we can actually do better. In crypto, we're blessed with a great trading experience, but in TradFi, we're still lagging behind. And then the biggest differentiator is transparency. By default, and we've actually wrote an article about this. So if you're further interested in the topic, you can read this whole article, or if you can add it in the comments. The TLDR for this is we publish the trades in real time on Hyperliquid, so you don't have to trust us on the execution of the trades. You just have to look at the Hyperliquid order book. We have an hybrid AB booking system. If you don't know what this is, We also have an article on the matter. The big transparency lies in the A/B booking algorithm. This one is open source, so traders see how we deploy the capital across the board. We also have transparency enabled by default for the rule change. So we persist the rule change on the blockchain. We will obviously change the rules over time as we grow the business, and a few things change in the industry. We'll have to evolve, but those will persist on the blockchain. So you don't have to. You can just trust that we are transparent about rule change, which is a big issue in the prop firm industry. And then other aspects about the business. So the pass rate of traders, aspects like how much revenues we're making, the margins of the business. And our goal really is to be as transparent as possible whilst being fair to the traders. So we're not going to have the best pricing. We're not going to have the best rules because otherwise the business would just blow up. What we'll make sure we have is the most transparent ecosystem. So what we've said at the end of the article about transparency is trading is super hard, but we want that if people fail at trading, it's not because of the platform, but rather about their skills, simply. Where you have today a lot of prop firms that play against the traders, so much so that some fail at prop firm trading when they have the skills. So that's the intro about Propr specifically. The last thing I could add, which is really relevant to this call, is we believe that in the next generation of apps that are built, specifically with AI coming and disrupting the tech moat, we believe that having user alignment from the start is very important. And that's why we're launching a token, so that that helps us on the distribution, but it also aligns the users with the business. So the way the token works is as close as possible to a replication of equity, in the sense that all of the value that accrues to the platform goes back to the token. Very much like what you see on Hype or Pump. And I'm of the view that, for example, what happened with Hype is Hype and the Hyperliquid platform got very successful because of power users that are using the platform on a daily basis, and that Hyperliquid will not be facing the success it has today without the Hype token. And you can argue similar things about the Pump token, for example, from Pump Fund. And overall, I believe that this is the next era for tokens, is to link all of the value that's funneled through the platform back to the token. Now I'm going to talk about the product more specifically and where we stand. So we've started the QA of the trading terminal about a week ago. I can actually go ahead and share my screen. I think that's going to give us some context. I believe you should see my screen. This is the trading terminal that is live today. You can actually, everyone can access it today at beta.app.propr.xyz. I'm putting the link here. Wait, sorry, it's actually app.beta.propr.xyz. Wait, I actually have to switch. All right. Let me actually figure something out. You guys can't see me, I believe. So I just stop sharing and then reshare at some point. Okay. All right. Wait, does that work now? All right, cool. So it works. Can you confirm that you see both myself and the screen? All right, cool. So that's how the platform looks like. It's basically a replication of per platform. This is the paper trading engine. So you have the ability to do whatever you would do on a perp, and here it's on we've replicated basically an exchange on the back end. So you can go long an asset, short an asset, look at the whole investment universe. And this platform has been QA'd with the community for about a week now, and I would say it's been going pretty decent. So we're at the stage now where we're getting more and more confident that the platform is going to be soon ready for a full launch, and I will give you just some dates and roadmaps so it's clear for everyone. So we will launch this weekend first is we will do the full app QA. So not only the trading terminal, but the user interface, the dashboard, settings, and things that are beyond just the trading terminal. Today we are implementing HIP3, so we're implementing equities and commodities. So if it's not live by Friday, it's probably going to be live either during the weekends or Monday. We've released our Python and JavaScript SDK. So anyone that wants to build bots on top of our systems, they can target our APIs. If you're building like AI agents that trades, you can do so. I believe I'm gonna drop the links.
Okay. Can you guys hear me in the chat? It seems like we have a connection issue. Un, deux, un, deux. Okay, so you hear me, but you don't see me. Okay. Okay, let me put a white screen and some music, okay? Sorry for this guy. It seems like Lou lost internet. So we're back online in a few.
All right, can you hear me now? I think I'm back online.
Yes, you're back.
All right, cool. So, sorry for this. My Wi-Fi actually got shut. Have no clue why. But what we were saying, sorry, is today we have full QA of the app that's ongoing. I'm gonna reshare the app quickly. So you should see again the app. Today we've got the full QA of the app that's ongoing, which is going well. And next week we will actually have, well, we're aiming to have a full release of the app that's going to be open to everyone in production towards the end of next week. So that's our big target. Is before we open the seed rounds, we have a product that anyone can use that's stable and live in production. That's the big target that we have internally. We might miss it. Honestly, it's been very intense few days to try and ship this product, but we will do our best to get there in due course. I'm just checking. Can you hear me? Because I understand the connection is pretty bad.
Yes, Lou, we are clear and loud.
All right, cool. Sorry for this. We are, as I said, we're finalizing the HIP integration. And our big targets, once that we have the production environment that's live for everyone, is to have a training competition. Training competition is going to be a way for us to do some growth, get new people to hear about us, to test the app. And then we will go live with the funded accounts towards the end of April. So today we're about 6 weeks away. I saw someone ask the question here, but we had someone that said, can you write how can I buy a challenge? This is going to be in end of April. That's a big target. We publish actually on our website our roadmap almost in real time. So you can go to propr.xyz/roadmap. I'm going to go and share the page specifically, so we can review together what's on there and where we stand regarding this roadmap so far. So today we finalized the paper trading engine, or at least we're in big testing. I would say we're 95% of the way there. We have the seed round that's approaching. We finalized Stripe payment. We are in the middle of community building. We're finalizing equity and community integration, and we shipped the developer API. So what's pending at the moment is the account evaluation pre-sale that's going to come in the end of March, and then the trading competition. That's what's pending for Q1 specifically. And then Q2 is, as I described, the closed beta funding program, which we want to get out by April. And then complete the A-booking integration. We're actually ahead on a few things, like the affiliate program, KYC, and A-booking algorithm. Those are actually live today. So now that I've covered about the product, I want to cover quickly a few things about growth and what we've achieved so far. Propr is super new, realistically, but we've had good growth in the last few days or like last few weeks. For example, a post on the sit run actually got about 100K views, I think, which is a great achievement for a project that's realistically just getting started. And we have a real good engagement on our X account, but also we've welcomed about 1,000 new persons in our Discord in the last 10 days, which is a great milestone. Growth-wise, that's product specific. We've started the affiliate program. So if you're looking at the stream, whether that's live or in replay, and you have a big audience, we have an affiliate program that is actually live on the website. You can search it and you can look at the details of the affiliate program today. And if you're interested, you can DM us. So either join our Discord or on X, and we're happy to figure out the details. But we've started pretty hard actually on the distribution. So making sure by the time we launch the app in April, we have a decent amount of user base. The way it's going to work for the April release, it's going to be there will be a waitlist. So that means we won't welcome everyone to the platform at the same time, as we want to make sure, because there is real capital that's involved, we want to make sure that we offer a bulletproof experience to the current users. And once we're happy with this, then we will go ahead with more people, but that's still going to be on a waitlist basis. I won't go so much into the details as to why we're doing it, because it's a long thing to explain, but the few points is it's about liquidity management, risk management, capital efficiency, and then user experience. So we just want to make sure you guys have the best user experience when you use the app, and that there is something that's really wrong with the platform, and this impacts 1,000 people. We want to make sure this impacts just a few before we roll out. So realistically, a complete launch of the app that's going to be available to thousands of traders is not likely before June. So it's by June that you can expect to have basically anyone that wants to access an account can freely do it. And before that, it's going to be on a waitlist basis, and the waitlist is going to be on the website as early as end of next week. Now I want to discuss more concretely, about the Propr token. So as I've said in the intro, we do have a full commitment to the token in a way that maximize the value accrual to the token and limits the value accrual to the equity holders. So concretely, for the Propr company, we're not raising equity, so that means all of the value that gets accrued, we're able to accrue the whole value back to the token holders and none of that to equity holders. Otherwise, there would be too many conflicts of interest. And that's, I believe, is something that both Hyperliquid and PumpFun or other platforms are doing. And if there's a framework to do it in a way that's legal, we will also enable the swap between one token and the equivalent in percentage to the equity structure at a 1-to-1 rate. So that means if you hold 1% of the token supply, you'll be entitled to 1% of the equity structure, which is actually a big thing. Because if we look at other projects, the equity rate is much less. So for example, the Backpack Exchange, they have a token launch very soon, but the token holders are entitled to max 20% of the equity structure, whereas for us it's 100%. So the way it's going to work is we'll try and maximize the value accrual to the token in forms of buybacks or otherwise things that are proposed by the governance of the protocol or of the project. So we'll try and be flexible. As it stands today, and because it's going to be dependent on the margin of the business, we lean towards a split between capital that's injected into growth and capital that's injected into the buybacks. But what we want to make sure is that people that hold the token have exposure to the business, whether through a one-to-one equity swap or direct buybacks or outright buybacks on the token. In terms of utility, more specifically, so we believe that number one utility is exposure to the growth of the business. Prop firms is a high growth business. High margin business, and you get exposure to it through the token, just like you would through equity. For example, if there is an acquisition of the company, none of the value would accrue to equity holders, and everything would basically go to token holders. And that's a thing we'll stick to, and we'll try and have this bound legally. In terms of utility of the token beyond this growth exposure, is the ability to have access to earlier and more exotic investments. So, for example, if you follow closely the Hyperliquid universe, they will have binary options. So we will have the ability to have access to more exotic markets much early on. Also markets where the open interest is fairly low. So for example, on the platform that's going to be available for everyone, there is an OI cap. So we make sure you can't trade assets that have an open interest below 2 million, but we will reduce this cap if you hold a certain amount of Propr tokens. We don't have the full amount just yet or the exact specs, but you'll basically have access to a wider investment universe and an universe that's more broad. So instead of being able to trade 100 assets, you're going to be able to trade 150 or so assets. I don't have the exact math in mind. There are other items like higher profit splits. We don't have the exact amount figured out, but it's going to be tiered based on the amount of tokens that you hold. So today the profit split is 80% across all of the challenges, but there will be the ability to increase that to 82, 83, 85, plus 90 if you hold significant amount of tokens. So there will be pretty great token utilities across the platform. We're not so sure on staking at the moment, so we can't claim that there will be staking on the platform. To us, it's really dependent on how we do the buyback specifically, whether those are going straight to a token or if we talk about a dividend-like structure. Today, there is no staking per se that's on the roadmap. Also, I'm not sure if it's normal, but I can't access any of the questions in the chat, unless the last question was like 15 minutes ago. No, I want to talk more specifically about the seed round and all right. So I actually don't see any of the messages. It's interesting. Sorry for this. So I need help. If you can put the.
I'll push you the question as they come. Is that fine for you?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. On the seed round specifically. Sorry, this live is a bit clunky because I'm not at place. Wi-Fi is super bad here, but we're doing as the best we can. In terms of the seed round details, so first we're happy to see that there is interest. Today on the website, it's about 2.4 million of interest. We've actually cleaned a lot of bots. Like some people just submitted a bunch of random submissions, but we do have pretty good bot protections. So we had actually some Indonesian farms that added about 200 to 300K of interest. I don't have the exact details, but for example, we do check for your IP address whenever you submit your interest, and then we look at the EVM address that's added, so we make sure there's no fake submissions. So today we have about 2.4 million of interest. Our target is to get to about 4 million of interest by the time we go live with the seed rounds, which is in about 2 weeks. We don't have the exact date just yet, but it's going to be between the 23rd and 26th, unless something changes. But today we're waiting on some details from the Swissborg side. But what I can share today is the size that's going to be available on the launchpad. So the Propr launchpad is going to be for about 1 million. So although we're doing 1.5 million, in total round size, only 1 million will be available publicly directly on our launchpad. The allocation is between $100 and $15,000 directly on the launchpad. The way you access it, so more generally, it's a public seed rounds, but if you want to have early access, so 2-hour access before the public, you need to hold certain amount of assets within our own ecosystem. So today, you can have access to the exact rules in propr.xyz/launchpad, but the criteria are 10,000 XBG tokens or 10,000 Borg tokens or 1 Prometheus NFT. And this basically grants you access before everyone at the seed rounds. And then after this 2-hour window, then everyone gets access to the seed rounds. We've opted for no guaranteed allocation. There is no way to guarantee an allocation today, and it's on a first come first serve basis. So I don't think there will be a ton of FOMO. It's not the goal, actually, and so it might be that some don't have access to the allocation that they want. I think it really is going to depend on what's the number of interest. The best is, if you're really interested about the opportunity, first do your due diligence, look at all the docs. We've published the pitch deck, join the community, use the product, and check this out for yourself. But yeah, if you I guess just make sure you're there on day one. The run is going to last for about 7 days. So in theory, you have ample time to access the opportunity. I want to stress that KYC is enforced, so you'll have to do your KYC for the seed rounds, and you'll be able to KYC from up to 7 days after the sale ends. So you still have about, let's say, max 4 weeks to do your KYC, and that's going to be directly on the launchpad. And we use Onfido, which is our KYC partner, but data is secured with them. It's a KYC provider that's very well known in the space. In terms of limits for the seed rounds, we have restrictions for US, UK, Russia, and OFAC sanctioned countries. We do have to do this because at the end of the day, we have to comply with all requirements to do the sale, and there is no way to circumvent this. And that's, I think, all I wanted to cover as an intro. That ended up lasting for longer than expected. But now, if Oz, I see you on the background, but if you can add some community questions, I'd be happy to take them one by one. Yeah, how can we get on the whitelist? So there is no specific whitelist. It's more so priority access. That's 2 hours before the public access. And the way to get whitelisted is be part of our own ecosystem. I'm also the founder of Xborg, and so we've launched certain assets like the XBG token, the Prometheus NFT, and we're also part of the Swissborg ecosystem. So today the requirements is holding 10,000 XBG tokens or 10,000 Borg tokens or one Prometheus NFT, and you'll have access 2 hours before the public. And also some risk disclaimers is, I saw some people DMing me and say, hey, this is a wonderful project. But I want to say, seed run is not for everyone. There is risks attached to it. The project is still very early. And so if you don't know, if you hesitate, it's honestly probably not for you. And if it's your first seed run, please do pay attention and don't invest more than what you're willing to lose in the traditional stuff. But it's don't put a ton of capital into this. We'll obviously do our best to be very good operators of the business, and we generally work super hard for it. But don't put too much, otherwise you're gonna be stressed, and it's also not good for us if we have a community that's too stressed. I also want to say on the Propr token launch, we do target an end of August TG. But typically, if let's say for whatever reasons this has to happen mid-September, and if you can't stomach this, it's probably not for you. If you don't tolerate any change in anything about the project, it's a seed round, so it's something that's super early. And typically, for example, if we can't fill up the million, for example, and all of that is going to go to private investors, because those are typically more accustomed to seed rounds than retail investors. So I just wanted to cover this. If you're interested in alpha testing, so the link is public. I've shared the link here, but it's app.beta.propr.xyz. The app is not the most sexy at the moment. It's going to be pretty sexy by, if you use the app end of next week, it's going to be really good. Today, it's not the most beautiful looking app, but we'll get there. I think the train terminal actually looks pretty cool, but you can go ahead and look for yourself. Then if you're interested in further testing the app, we have a process to help us on the QA. So you can go ahead and go on propr.xyz/product/QA. I can't put I actually can't put links here, but as if you can drop the link, and then on this link specifically, it tells you how you can join the whole QA team. Today we have more than 80 people that use the app, and I think close to about 30 people that help us stress test the app and QA the ecosystem. So I believe the flow is you have a quiz that basically tells us if you're literates about the perp markets. And then once you have this gives you a role. And then once you have the role, you can access the alpha tester channel on our Discord. And then you can also go ahead and publish some QA tickets directly on the app. Yeah, so specifically on agentic trading, and what we mean by this is we have so a lot of prop firms ban bots and ban trading agents. Us, we believe that we should embrace that as opposed to rejecting this this trend. And so what that means is and that's already live today, but you have our APIs available to the public, and we have a pretty decent rate limit. So any algos or any bots can actually go ahead and use the app. Our big thesis for this is that bots will trade more than humans in the next few months or years, but we still believe that prop firms is a way in which you can access capital as a trader more efficiently than you would with just plain leverage. So, for example, with a 100K account that today is available for less than $1,000, you can get exposure to as if you're trading 100K through our systems. So that means it's a 100x leverage that you would, like, for the same notional, you would take on a lot more risks. So it's obviously not for every trader. Not everyone uses prop firms. I'm personally not someone that uses prop firms on a daily basis, and it's really just a function of how much capital you have at hand, and also what's your trading style. But today, I think today we actually have more bots and agents that QA the app than humans. If you want to have access to your API key, you can simply go ahead on app.beta.propr.xyz, and then you go to settings, and on settings you'll have your API key. You can go and create your API key, make sure you just save it, and then you can hook this up to our environment. All of the docs are available on propr.xyz/docs/bots, and then you have the full API documentation along with the Python and JavaScript SDK. The pairs that are available to trade, it's basically the whole hyperliquid universe that has an open interest that's above 2 million, plus the HIP3 market that's again above 2 million of open interest. So that means more concretely, you're able to trade every big pair on the hyperliquid. Today, if I look at the pairs that are sorted by volume, you have access to BTC, Type, Sol, XRP, Zcash, Gold, Sweet, Pepe, Near, like all of the big cryptos, Pump, etc., plus equity market, plus commodities. So, for example, you're able to trade oil on the platform. Oil on the platform, silver. The whole investment universe can be accessed on propr.xyz/universe, I think. And it's available on the website, so you can see exactly the whole like every contracts that we have, like things like copper, circle, Tesla, platinum, all of that is available at platform launch. Yeah, for a 10K account that hits the 10% mark, the split is 800 for you and 200 for us. That's the split, and that's the split for every account at the moment. It might change over time, but what we do enforce is transparency on how this changes. So you'll have access to the change log and see how this evolves. Yep. Also, I've just answered the question, or I don't see any other I'm sorry, I actually can't see the chat, which is really annoying.
On the right of your screen, chat, when you click on it, you don't see anything?
No, I actually don't. Everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
And on
it says to activate chat, please enable channels which are already enabled.
Okay, and on the screen you don't see the question popping just below your face? For
No, I don't see anything now.
Okay, so the next question is for 10K accounts that
Yeah, sorry, I've already answered that question.
Okay.
my bad.
My bad.
One question is if you stake your XBG for 1 year to get proper tokens, you're still getting daily rewards after TG. No, all of the rewards are. Some of the view that price discovery is better done when you have everything fully unlocked, and so there won't be any other emission after the TG. There will be a pretty high float, but we will utilize all of the revenues from basically now to TG to buy back the token in the week following the TG. Yeah, we're closely following the topic of the question is should we expect some incorporations of prediction markets like HAP3? So we will support we will support HAP3 basically tomorrow or this weekend. Again, that's you're gonna be able to trade oil and the other big contracts. HAP4 we have to look at the implementation and how this works and how we can make this work in a way that's capital efficient. But ideally, we come to a stage where we support all of the different new markets that are powered by Hyperliquid. If you look closely on our roadmap, so if you go far down the roadmap, and I think this is planned for the end of the year, you can see Polymarket prop firm. So we do have the intention to give access to capital to prediction markets traders, and it really depends on the tech implementation. We've seen this on testnet. Today it's not our priority, but we might implement this towards end of the year, but not before that. We've got a lot of work before implementing HAP4. Yeah, there is an affiliate program. We're changing the page at the moment, but the current implementation can be viewed at affiliates. So propr.xyz/affiliates. And we have this founding affiliate program, which is limited to about 50 spots. Today, we've only filled about 5 of those spots. And what this gives you as an affiliate, so if you refer people to the platform, it gives you 20% revenue. So you have commission on the challenges that are sold directly through the platform, as well as the ability to get a Hyperliquid airdrop. So for example, for the people that you reference that use the app and that go through the A booking path, you have access to the underlying Hyperliquid airdrop that they get, plus an airdrop of Propr tokens. Yeah, good question on HIP with 3 with oil. Are we going to stick to USDC or USDH? So we settle contracts in the underlying currency. So that means we would go with whatever underlying markets or underlying currency there is. In the case USDH. That's the current implementation. Now, for capital efficiency reasons, there might be a swap to USDC if we have an arbitrage bot that's sufficient. It really depends on how much we deploy to those markets. But as it stands, we look at the underlying assets, so USDH. Yeah, we do have a training competition that's going to start with HIP3 enabled in a few days now. We just want to be transparent on, we do everything in sort of real time here. So it's, you can actually go ahead and check it out, check the date out on the website. Today it's scheduled for in about 7 days, but this might change as we test the platform. So it's going to be dynamic. So yeah, in the next few days, you'll be able to trade directly on the platform. I did say end of next week, you have the ability to, like, anyone can test the platform in production. Buy like a fade challenge and then go ahead. Yeah, we haven't discussed about this, but it's today we, like, the Propr ecosystem is basically the prop firm, and then we generally do our best to help traders get access to better tooling in order to refine their edge. So we did build a set of tools. So you can go to tools.propr.xyz and you'll have access to all of the tools that we've built so far. For example, if you don't really know when to catch the dip or buy the dip, and you don't know like where your invalidation should be, we have access, like we've given access to those tools for free to everyone at the moment, and some of these tools will be gated to the Propr token at some point. So for example, if we look at BTC now, if you want to catch buy the dip, the system is telling you that you should probably wait because the CVD, so the cumulative volume delta, is telling you that spot is selling, and as such, you shouldn't be aggressively buying the dip. And we've got other tools, like for example, checking the market momentum on some assets. So the tool is telling you which asset is relatively weak or strong versus the market, and as such, telling you which asset is best to long or to short. Yeah, thanks guys for the comments, but we'll try and stick to about an hour, which is, we're coming to the end of it, and we'll take the last questions for the AMA now. I think before the seed round opens, we'll have one more AMA that's gonna be probably 2-3 days before it, and then obviously, as you probably see, we're super active on the Discord. So any questions that you have on the product, as a developer or not, we'll be happy to answer your questions. If you've made it so far, we're taking a snapshot of whoever supported us early. So if you're here, thanks so much for taking your time to care about the stuff that we build. We're very community driven. Like we do it with the QA, for example. We rely a lot on community feedback, and I was genuinely impressed by the support of the community to help us in building the best platform. At the end of the day, we're not going to be able to pretend like we'll make every trader good. It's a super tough job to be a good trader, but at least we'll make sure that we give you the best tools and the best platform to trade. And that's my number one goal, and I'm very glad to have community members that support us on our way there. For the tools, there will be more tools that will be coming up. It's honestly not been our focus. Focus so far is to build the best platform possible, and then the tools will come as a second priority order. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we can end it there. I'm very sorry for the setup. I think the next AMA we'll do is going to be a lot more professional. But yeah, normally I'm in Dubai and they're sending bombs over there, so I'm not there anymore. So I have this temporary setup and connection is a bit clunky. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will end the stream just now. So yeah, just join our Discord. Make sure you're part of the community if you're interested, or just test out the product. And yeah, see you directly on Discord. Cheers, everyone.